Wendy, the recording is in process. It is October 5th. And I have to start this off by saying college football is really getting into swing. We've got some cooler weather coming, Wendy, but I have to – every time – did we not say we were going to do this on Thursday?
Yes, Trey, and I'm here. It's Thursday, and I'm right here at the table.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
But so I call you this morning. We're going to do it Thursday. I call you. The dog's eating your extension cord or your cord to your computer.
Yep.
And then you're trying to push it on to Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
Right?
But I didn't know I could do this on the phone. I didn't know. So now we're on the phone and can do it. So, Trey, I don't have any excuses left now.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I love working around your schedule. It seems fun. But let's just get this thing going, Wendy. I mean, we're going to do it on Thursday morning. We're going to do it on Thursday morning. My dog ate my homework.
Well, Trey, my dog did actually eat my homework. He literally chewed through the cord, and I didn't even know you could Zoom on the phone. So if you wanted to do it Thursday morning, it's Thursday morning, and I'm ready to talk about SEC football.
Let's talk about SEC football, Wendy. Okay. We're going to go to last week, Wendy, and we had some really big games last week. It was really fun relative to a good day of college football. Let's start off with the Auburn football Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs, Wendy. I mean, this is a 2:30 CBS game. It's what college football is in the South. Great rivalry, great matchup. Auburn kind of comes in there poor mouthing a little bit. People are still trying to figure out what Georgia can do or can't do. Wendy, what happened in the game? What's up?
Listen, let me tell you something. Georgia's beatable, and Georgia's beatable. Auburn came in with a phenomenal game plan. I totally give it to Hugh Freeze on this game. Listen, I almost feel like Auburn won that game, even though I know the score says that they didn't. Like, I feel like that was a win for Auburn. Auburn came out. They played great, Trey. They really put it to Georgia. And honestly, we're in the game almost the entire game. It's not like me and you were sitting here going, well, it was the first half. You know what I mean? The first quarter. They were in this game, Trey. Auburn is going to be somebody by the end of the year. They're getting better every single week. Every single week, these guys are getting better. And it's almost like they want to win. When in previous years, I'm telling you, I didn't think in some games they wanted to win. They want to win ball games this year. And I'm excited for Auburn. And Trey, they were this close to beating Georgia. This close.
Yeah, they made it a great game. They had some turnovers. They ran the ball, which we said last week, Auburn can run the football. Like, I mean, they can run the football. They do not have a real threat to beat anybody over the top. And I think once you kind of figure out they're really not going to beat you over the top, it hurts their running game a little bit.
Right.
But, Hugh Freeze puts his team in a good place to play. Kirby's trying to figure out this team with a new quarterback and new people. The Brock Bowers kid, that's how you really know when these players are really good. When everybody in the stadium knows what's about to happen and you still can't stop them. I mean, that's how you know who a great player is. He looks the part. He's fast. He can catch. He's tough. And he took over the second half. And Brock Bowers, that's what you do. You win players with really good football players and good schemes. And Georgia just had that. Auburn is looking a little bit better, but just could not finish the game late. And realistically, to me, it's because Auburn does not have a deep threat. And that's, at some point, Auburn's going to have to throw the ball deep. You're going to have to get the ball vertical and have some explosive plays. So we'll see what happens. Great football game, Wendy. Let's go to the Ole Miss LSU game, Wendy, which was a 6-hour game. There was 5 million yards of offense, and Ole Miss comes out on top, holds LSU off late, Wendy, and really an epic game. What happened?
Trey, it was a great game. My favorite game of the day was this game. Here's the thing. Where did LSU's defense go? I mean, Ole Miss, I don't ever really expect Ole Miss to have some awesome defense. But LSU, I mean, they're known for defenses, just like we're known for defenses. Here's the thing with this Brian Kelly guy. I'm just trying to tell you, I give him bad kudos for coming into the SEC. He's not an SEC coach. And I'm telling you, what you're going to see from here on out, unless they play Alabama, I don't know if these kids will bounce back for this guy. I just feel like they should have won the game in 4 different places. Like, I don't understand, but I'll give it to Kiffin. Kiffin just kept going back out there and throwing bombs. I mean, Dart was on it on this game, but the last couple of downs were just Trey was just a great game. It was what I love to see in a football game. High score, slinging balls, awesome.
And Ole Miss gets the win at home, which they needed a big win at home. You know, Ole Miss, I think Lane Kiffin's record against, you know, really good football teams is not really good at all. And they needed to have a big home win. They did. The crowd rushed the field. Everybody's happy, Wendy. And I mean, to me, it's so funny what we watch in football, but to me, Lane Kiffin gets interviewed at the end, and I think all I thought about was his hair. I mean, his hair is froed up. This dude is in a zone, and I tell you, I got a huge chunk out of Lane Kiffin's hair. I think they had 800 yards worth of offense, and it's a big win for Ole Miss, especially after playing Alabama last week. We all know when you play Alabama, Georgia, some of these more physical teams, it's hard to get up the next week and go play another good football game. And they did it, and they ended up beating LSU. And I don't know what's wrong with LSU. And I think what Brian Kelly's probably having to understand is this isn't like, hey, we got to get up 2 or 3 times a year to win football games. It's like, you know, you better be up 8 or 9 times a year to win football games. And it could be a little bit of a different story. Wendy, real quick, Colorado, USC, that was another really good game. USC can't stop anybody. They might can score 600 points, but they're going to give up 600 points. So I don't understand how these people get just so wide open and nobody tackles. And I don't know, it's bizarre, but you know, USC ends up winning the game, but Colorado is still an interesting football team to watch.
Well, but listen, Colorado came back and made that game awesome. I mean, that second half of that game was off the chain. I watched it. I mean, they were scoring. Colorado almost came back and beat them. It was just a really good game. And I'm still going to give it to Dion. I mean, I don't know about his defense. I've said that from the jump. Wait till they go against the defense. This quarterback's something special, but not having Hunter is probably really hurting them. Him not having his number one guy is hurting him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of strange. It's like, well, it doesn't hurt their defense. It doesn't hurt, you know, typically losing a player will hurt one side of the ball. And the oddity of this is losing one player actually hurts both sides of the ball, which is really a unique thing in college football. But, hey, they're still entertaining. Wendy, the last game we're going to do of last week was the Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Go defense.
And Wendy, the game comes on so late. And I mean, I like watching college football, but I barely made it through the third quarter of that game. But when Alabama comes out, I think beats them 40-17, 42-17. In a relatively interesting game, Alabama has some turnovers. They get some turnovers on defense, which really helped them. There were still some snap issues. There were still some things going on. But one thing that we did see from the Alabama Crimson Tide is Nick Saban is back. And he's hot on the sidelines again. The Mike Newbold's golf clap seems to have exited the building, and Nick Saban is back fired up on the sidelines. Wendy, what's up?
I've said it for 1.5 years. I don't know where the old Saban went, but I'm ready for the butt chewing Nick Saban, and that's who's back. And that's what I'm absolutely thrilled to see. But Trey, our defense, biggest play of the game was right there at the end of the half where we got that turnover. We went in 31-7, I think, going into the half. And Trey, that's what we need.
14,
yeah, that's the confidence that our team needs. Like, we're going into the half with these big leads. They, you know, getting in there, figuring out what we can do. But let me say this. I was excited to see Milroe. I think he played a little bit better. But Trey, we still have some holes in the offense. And I'm a little concerned about what that looks like moving forward with Texas A&M, LSU, and Auburn. You see what I'm saying? And Tennessee. So, you know, our big hunk of the schedule's coming up. And I still think we've got some things to work out on that offense. But, Trey, our running game looked off the chain. I felt like our receivers were playing better. Can you just – so, like, how hard is it to get a snapper? Like, I'm not being rude here. Like, I'm not Like, I've never seen bad snappers. So, like, in all the football you and I have ever watched, the snapper just snaps the ball. They might have a bad snap every couple of games, but not 27 bad snaps a game. But here's what's interesting. Everybody goes, take them out, put somebody else in. The person behind him can't be much better because Saban would have already done that, right? Like, true, like, right? I mean, this is our best option, which is scary.
And because I get into it too, and you know, listen, the center for Alabama, he's trying, like he is trying, he's out there playing, and just something isn't clicking quite right during these games, and I don't know, you know, sometimes they could be asking him to kind of make a block that's a little bit harder, and he's trying to hurry up and get somewhere that he needs to be, and he's not concentrating on the snap. I'm not convinced that some of it is not some communication between the quarterback and the center, the quarterback looking over to the sideline or looking back or checking on a play, or, you know, the cadence might be off. A lot of that stuff is rhythmic. Now, you know, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And all of a sudden the quarterback checks up a little bit. And you're kind of going, and you know, it's so I'm not going to blame it all on the center. And I know, like me and you, Wendy, we're not going to sit over here and bash a certain player because they're all out there trying. They're all out there giving it their effort. It's just an oddity that Alabama's having to live with right now. But Alabama gets the win, Wendy, and we're going to go to this week's game.
Right. But
which
almost like it's almost like our center is our new field goal kicker. Remember when we could not kick field goal? We're like hiding every single time when we went to hit it to get one. So it's almost like our center is like the new punt returner, because we went through that couple years where our punt returners were dropping balls all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just Alabama's never going to have a completely perfect team. We're always going to have somebody doing something that's not normal, you know?
Well, sure. And one team I did leave out that I don't want to leave out is the Tennessee Volunteers. The Tennessee Volunteers in South Carolina. I think Tennessee was in black uniforms. Rocky Top was actually rocking. That was a good game to kind of start, and Tennessee put them away late. And hey, here's the point. I think Tennessee's a pretty good football team. Tennessee actually drills South Carolina, which I predicted. You did not. You picked against Tennessee once again. But Tennessee's pretty good, and we'll have to finish, you know, maybe the Florida-Kentucky game. That was an early game, and Florida gets drilled by Kentucky.
Trey.
So I don't think Florida's as good as they think they are. Tennessee might be a little bit better than they are. At this point in college football, I don't know if anybody's great, but Tennessee looks good. If you're a Tennessee fan, you better get used to singing Rocky Top.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Kentucky is here to stay. Kentucky's going to be a problem for a lot of teams. I'm telling you, Kentucky's the real deal this year. I am telling you. They demolished Florida. They didn't beat Florida. They made Florida look dumb. Like, it was bad. It wasn't just
I know you lie.
Y'all live some moving. But I'm telling you, everybody better watch out for Kentucky, including Tennessee. I'm telling you, everybody better watch out for Kentucky.
Wendy, you might be right, but it seems like Kentucky's 5-6 every year, and then they get to the back half of their schedule and they flop out. But hey, this might be the year they didn't flop out, but Florida went up there and got hammered.
They did.
And Tennessee is still rolling. We'll see what happens. All right, this week's games, Wendy, let's get to them. You know, just going to jump through these real quick, Wendy. Oklahoma, Texas, you know, now that Texas beat Alabama, I'm not one of those guys that I hope Texas runs the table and we play Texas later. No, I want Texas to get beat. I want Texas to get beat.
Me too. Just beat the crap out. I'm a big Oklahoma fan this week. Beat Texas. All we need to do is I'm like you. I don't want anybody that beats me to win another game. I don't care how bad that makes Alabama look. I'm ready for Texas to go down. I'm ready for them to shut their mouth. And honestly, I don't want to meet them anytime soon. So, like, I don't want to see them anytime soon. So if they can go down a little bit, that's going to make me happy. So I agree.
Let's go. Are you scared
of Texas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Trey, how are you not scared of Texas? Did you see what they...
It was one game. It was a game that we didn't even play that good, and they played a good fourth quarter. They played a good game, but am I scared of Texas? Not at all.
Okay, so you want at the end of the year in the national playoffs? Like, if we... What? Yeah. No, I do not. I do not. They beat us at home by 10 points. No, I'm done with this Ewers kid. Let him graduate. He's 35 years old. He needs to either get married and have kids or go to the NFL. That's what he needs to do. One or the other, Ewers.
It's officially Wendy is scared of Texas?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. All right, Wendy, Auburn, the Auburn football Tigers are off this weekend. They will be at the Pumpkin Patch this weekend, Wendy. We have got Georgia. Let's do this. Georgia versus Kentucky. We just talked
Trey.
about Kentucky a little bit. We talked about Georgia. Your Kentucky Wildcats, Wendy, they're for real. They're for real. Well, we're going to find out if they're for real, or can Kentucky beat Georgia or not? Wendy.
They're going to beat them. And let me tell you why, because this kid with the last name of Davis that's a running back that nobody can stop. I'm going to tell you something. Georgia's going to lose this week to Kentucky. Kentucky's that good. This one player, you can't stop him. He's so little. He gets through everything. Trey, Kentucky's the real deal. And Georgia's going to have a big problem with them this weekend. That game, people better have on to watch them go down. I think the Bulldogs are going down this weekend.
Okay,
I do.
Yeah, let's just say you predict the Georgia Bulldogs, Barry, Jacob,
sorry, Barry,
all that crew down there, the Bulldog Nation will go down to Kentucky.
100%.
The game's at Georgia, Wendy.
Don't care. They're going to run I'm just telling you, Kentucky's the sleeper team in the SEC. You watch what Kentucky does. Yeah, well, and you could be right, Wendy. But listen, it's not like Georgia's going to come into the game and they're not going to realize that this running back just ran all over Florida, Wendy. It's not like they wake up on Saturday and are like, oh, this guy's pretty good. They're probably going to game plan to figure out a way to stop the running back. Kentucky's going to have to do some things. And listen, Georgia really hasn't proven to me that they can blow a team out, especially a halfway decent team. So it could be a close game like they've been playing too. But until Georgia loses, I'm going to stick with Georgia and say they get it figured out. But it should be a really good football game. And that's what we're here for. Yep.
Last game, Wendy. We were going to the last game. I'm highlighting this. Wendy is scared of Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're scared of Kentucky.
I am scared of Kentucky. Do we play Kentucky?
I think we did play Kentucky.
I think we do play Kentucky, Trey. And I am scared of Kentucky.
Wendy, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and this is where we're going to wrap things up, play the Texas A&M Aggies at Texas A&M, Wendy, 2 years ago. Texas A&M beats Alabama. I think wasn't it 2 years ago they beat Alabama? They rushed the field goal kicker late in the game.
I don't think they beat
Alabama.
us.
Yeah, they did. 2 years ago they did. And Alabama, we were trying to throw the ball on first and goal at the 1, and we get it intercepted, and it was kind of a weird deal. But Texas A&M has proven they can beat Alabama at A&M. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
The game is at A&M.
Yeah.
Alabama is nowhere near the explosive offense that we have been. A&M is playing with a quote-unquote backup quarterback in Max Johnson, which he is the prototypical guy that I always talk about. If you bring the guy in and off the bench, he can play football. When you have to start the guy and he knows he's the starter, I'm not sure he's the same quarterback. I want a mental coach, a psychologist, whoever to talk about why when somebody comes in off the bench, they can play really well, and why when they start, they don't play as well. And it has to do with something with expectations. Something with the mental capacity of how people tick. And I don't think it's a negative thing. No. I just think it's something that is inside of people. If you tell somebody they're not starting the game, but you might have to come in and just instantly you kind of have to go do it and it's reactionary. This guy seems to play pretty well. All of a sudden you give him the game plan and say, hey, you're who we got. Next thing you know, some doubt starts creeping in. And also, Wendy's got Alabama's got some tape on this Max Johnson to see what his tendencies are, and Alabama's got a good defense. I'm not sure what the line is on this game. I haven't looked at it, but Wendy, Alabama's in for a fight. What happens in the game?
So I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a tough game. We've got the 12th man. Their crowd's gonna be into it. Everybody's crowd's into it when they play Alabama on an away game. Trey, it's got to be on our offense. I mean, our defense is playing lights out. They're making plays. They're intercepting the ball. They're getting fumbles. They're scoring. Like, you see what I'm saying? I need the offense to do that as well. This needs to be the week. This needs to be the week where it all runs right? Like all this stuff, if they're finally getting it together, it needs to be this week, or we're going to get beat by Texas A&M. And I just want to remind everybody, Alabama cannot lose again. It's fine that Texas is not in the SEC, whatever. We can't lose another ball game, period. or to me, the run of the national championship is over. So I'm very scared for this weekend. I'm a nervous wreck. Trey, I think we're going to win it, but we're going to win it by 3, or we're going to win it by 7. I mean, the last 2 years, there's been 2 points between the games. Like, you see what I'm like? They're low scoring games anyway, right? So they can beat us at home. They've proven they can beat us at home. And it makes me nervous going in there playing with that crowd. I just hope our offense, our snapper, but think about this, Trey. Think about the noise of this game. So we're going to have bad snaps, right? Like, hopefully everybody can hold their composure, because I actually think we're better than Texas A&M. I do. I actually think we.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to, Wendy, is can our offense score some points? Can our offense keep A&M off of the field? Can our defense get a few turnovers? I mean, I just don't, it's kind of boring. It's the same stuff when you really look at football. Who's going to make the big play? Who's going to give up the big play? Special teams will probably come into effect.
Right.
And this is a huge game for Alabama. The irony of it is since LSU got beat last week, Wendy, the West is wide open. I mean, the West is wide open. So the oddity of, maybe losing a game here or there is not as severe as it seemed in years past. So, I'm not, Alabama loses the game. It's not the end of the world. We're going down against one SEC loss, but I still look for Alabama to play their best. I think they're starting to get better, which is what you want to see in a football team. I think Alabama's going to win the football game. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to be exciting to watch. Wendy, what's up? We're going to get off here. What's up?
Listen, that's it, man. Just getting ready. We're on Thursday. We got Thursday night NFL football. We play in a fantasy league, guys, with our family, with some of our family members. And Trey was making a fine run at it until last week when my husband beat him. So that was fun. And I don't
Chris
know.
Is 4-0. Chris is 4-0. He's leading the league. Mom is 4-0, I think, in leading the league. So we've got 2 runaway teams in this league. 4 make the playoffs, so you better battle it out. But here's as I always said, it's about fantasy. Fantasy is all about when these players start having off weeks. So everybody loves their team. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's off. Now the off weeks are coming up. We'll see what's going to happen, Wendy. All right, what else you got on here, Wendy? We're going to jump off here. A couple of people. Aunt Julie texted me a couple weeks ago. I think she is now watching football games with the sound down. She even said, I think she's watching with the sound down and her hands over her eyes a little bit, almost watching some of these games.
Right.
Corbin and Mike are on the text thread. They're getting into it during the game. We're having a great time. Nacho's always involved. So everybody out there that's rolling down, Will and Bear, they're rocking and rolling through these text threads. Hope everybody has a great weekend. And you got anything else, Wendy? We're going to jump off here.
Nothing. I forgot to tell Abby, our niece, Abby Vandiver, who's down at Alabama, happy birthday last week. She listens every week. She waits for him to come out. Happy birthday, Abby. We love you so much, and we're so proud of you. But other than that, Trey, let's go college football and roll tide.
Hey, happy birthday, Abby. Everybody out there, I hope you all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. Love you, Wendy. Hey, Wendy, next week, let's try not to make this
hard
problem. Like, if you say we're going to do it on a certain date, that is when we're going to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Right. Yeah, I do agree. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I am 90% sure I can make that happen next week.
Yeah, I mean, Wendy, every time you're like, I can do it on this day, it's like, can't do it. It's like every week this is a struggle to get you in here.
Well, I literally walked to the computer and I got a puppy. I have a German Shepherd puppy named Duke, who I'm obsessed with, who really has not torn anything up. And I go to plug the thing in, my cord, and he's chewed the cord in half. And I didn't know that till this morning. So honestly, it really wasn't my fault. It was the dog's fault. If you want to blame somebody.
Blame the dog. I love you, Wendy. I'll talk to you later.
Roll Tide.
All right. Roll Tide. Bye.
Bye.